Sam Laidlow, we are meeting in Bavaria, in the cold Bavaria. You're just back here from Singapore. This was hot.
Yeah, Singapore was very hot, maybe too hot for me. I pushed the start of the bike quite a lot, and my stomach just completely shut down. I had no blood going to the stomach, and after an hour and a half, I just had no more energy and was pushing. Yeah, I couldn't get my heart rate over like 120, 130 heart rate. So yeah, I just bonked because I had no nutrition, and but that's just the way the cookie crumbles, unfortunately. Now I'm back here doing some aero testing, and yeah, hopefully now I've got a good long block to focus on training. I think I have 12 or 13 weeks before Ironman Victoria, so I have the time to dial everything in.
Yeah. Give us a whole picture of the season 2024. How did it start?
2024, it's been difficult, but I knew it would be difficult. My goal is to win Kona, and to do that, I really had to I had a lot of commitments to do after Nice, of course, and even just mentally, I needed a bit of a break. So to be able to build back up to the top level and peak in October, this also means that I put everything in December and January and February. So yeah, I'm clearly not at peak fitness. And then Miami, I just made some rookie errors basically. And then on top of that, I picked up some kind of food poisoning just from eating American food. So the race was like, I was confident that I could kind of come top 5. Definitely I wasn't fit enough to win, but unfortunately, despite leading some of the race, I completely blew up because I just wasn't fit enough. And then in Singapore, I went 2 weeks before to Singapore to do some heat preparation and stuff. But I think tactically I made some mistakes, but it's fine. This is how I work. I try things, make mistakes, and move on. As I said, my heart is really in Kona, so whatever happens outside of this World Championship, it hurts me a little bit, but I still have 100% faith that I can perform on the biggest day, because I've proved that twice now, and hope to do it a third time.
How different does it feel to race as an Ironman World Champion compared to before?
I don't know. I still don't feel like, by the time we get to October, I don't feel I will be necessarily the favourite, because we're going to probably have Gustav and Christian there, and Magnus, who's probably going to win Roth again in 7 hours and 5 minutes, probably, or something crazy. So by the time the race arrives, I think I would almost come in again as an underdog. This is what happened in Nice, and people kind of forgot about me and then were surprised when I did so well. But I guess... but I guess for now it doesn't feel much different because it's still very far away. But certainly it's a real. This will be the biggest challenge, is to go into a race as the reigning champion. It's something that I haven't excelled at so far when I've been in the position of being the favourite. So that's, on a personal level, that excites me, because that's the next chapter. It's to now go to races as a favourite and try and perform.
Yeah, we are here in Bavaria at the Aero. It's time for testing. What's your goal?
To put it very simply, it's just to have to push less watts, for the same speed. And the thing is, with aero testing, it's a never-ending process. So when you have time, you try and make gains, and also as triathletes, we have lots of different sponsors and trying to bring everybody together on the same project. Of course, I have the Kona bike course record, and this is something that we believe we can go faster, significantly faster. Just my sponsors, whether it's Fusion or Head or Canyon, they're doing some amazing work behind the scenes to make sure we break the course record again.
What's more important for you, to break the course record, or do you want to have really tough conditions to prove what you're able to do?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think on a personal level, I'm very used to wind from where I live, and being a heavier guy, I think this would be more of an advantage for me over maybe over Gustav or over Patrick. I ride very strong in the wind and also run very strong in the wind. So tough conditions I would prefer, but then for sure it'd also be nice to break the record. But yeah, that's one thing that I think, looking back, people don't really realize is in Kona when I came second, the conditions were very, very good. But I believe that if we have tough conditions, the discrepancy between me and some of the other guys would be different. Yeah.
You proved what you are able to do in Ironman World Championships in both Kona and Nice. How does this strategy affect the strategy of the others?
Well, it's funny because after Kona, people knew that I attacked obviously on the bike, and I thought, in my head, I went into Nice thinking, right, the situation I was in Kona will never happen again. Like, I never thought they would let me come into T2 with a 4 or 5 minute lead again. I thought this would never happen, so I just completely erased it and prepared mentally for this not to happen, and then it had happened again. So yeah, I think in French we have an expression that says never two without three. So hopefully this could happen again, but yeah, anything can happen. I believe my strength is the second half of the Ironman, of the 180k on the bike. I've shown time and time again, and even compared to half Ironman, in a half Ironman I can't quite get away, but in the second half of the Ironman, whether it's Kona or Nice, I've really proved that I have the strength in that aspect. And this is something that I've focused on and developed over 10 years, because the goal was always Ironman. So I do think I have an advantage there, but also now I have some good blocks of training where I really believe I can increase my run level. Actually, at the start of last year, I got to a very, very good run level, leading into like Ironman Lanzarote and stuff, and then unfortunately I had the calf tear in Roth and etc. So I actually peaked far too early last year, and then when I got to Nice, I was in very similar shape to I was in Kona, but previously in the year I'd actually been stronger. So I believe that this year we're kind of gradually getting fitter and fitter, and the timing is slightly better. So yeah, hopefully a strong bike, maybe Magnus with Magnus this time, and then I believe on my day I can outrun him. Yeah.
You can compare the courses of Nice and Kona. What's the difference? What do you have to do different this year compared to last year?
What do I have to do different? The course in Nice, there's periods of time where you have to really push some high power, because if you want to ride fast on the Nice course, you have to go very fast when the course is slow, and then ease off when the course is fast. If the goal is to ride fast, so in Nice you're doing either you're at your LT2 or you're riding easy. In Kona it's much more smooth. So in Nice, for instance, I was riding 360, 370 at the climbs, and then almost 100, 200 on the descents. But in Kona you have to ride 320, 330 the whole way. So yeah, that's the main difference. The run is obviously in Nice it's completely flat. I prefer the run in Kona. Also mentally it's easier when you have my profile of guy, when you're generally leading and people trying to catch you. Nice is very tough for this kind of situation because you see him every 2.5 kilometers. You see the people behind you, and it's many laps. And so I think, and Kona is quite hilly and stuff on the run. So yeah, they're the main differences.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting racing going on. We have an Ironman in Texas. We have the Olympic Games. Do you follow those races, or do you focus on yourself?
Yeah, for sure. Triathlon is experiencing a very interesting time. It's something that's new. We have some new circuits on board, whether it's Super League, which is getting bigger, or whether it's the PTO that are getting bigger. Before it was Olympic distance and Ironman, and now there's these two distances that are kind of shorter and in between. And this is it's creating something new where it's actually dilating the field a little bit. So it's very rare for all the best guys to meet. And Kona will be one of them, which is good. But yeah, for sure it's difficult at the moment because nobody's committing to a single event, and this is tough because we don't know where the PTO will be in 3 years. We don't know where Ironman will be in 3 years, etc. So for now, I think we're switching into a new era, and it's still very unclear what that is. But I feel there has been a golden era of professional triathlon because in Like if we take Frodeno, like he could race twice a year, and the rest of the time do kind of whatever he wanted. And now the PTO is requiring a very different. It's very like the short course where you have to be good all year, and there is more and more money in the sport, but the more money there is, the more we just become, as athletes, we become kind of like pawns that are getting put everywhere. So I feel we didn't really appreciate quite how relaxed our sport was, because 5 years ago you could make a good living if you were very good, but you still had some freedom to choose your calendar how you wanted and do the races you wanted. And yeah, now there's more money and it's becoming more like Formula One, or more like whatever, tennis or cycling. Cyclists, they don't, like, there's 250 days a year where they're not at home. And for me personally, maybe it's different for other people, but I like that freedom of being able to choose your calendar.
Yeah. What do you choose for your calendar in preparation for Kona? Will it include a race in Las Vegas?
No, not Las Vegas. So now I do a 12-week big training block to Ironman Victoria, and then 2 weeks after that I'll do the PTO London. Hopefully, I have some family in the UK and stuff, so this is quite an important race for me. And then again I have another big block to prepare for Kona. So this year I've really placed 2 big 10-week plus blocks to really make some steps forward, because if you just train for 3 weeks and then go to race and then recover, etc., it's you may have a good race or a bad race, but it's very difficult to significantly increase your level, I believe, anyway.
Why did you choose Victoria?
I think Victoria I've heard the crowds are very good, the course is fast, and the course on paper is similar to Kona, it's slightly rolling on the bike. And yeah, it's relatively fast, but it just, in terms of timing, it fell well, and also I had to validate my slot, so I have to choose an Ironman, and yeah, it's on the continent. I live very close to Spain, so it just made sense. Yeah.
So good luck for that. Good luck for the season, and have fun in the wind.
Yeah, we'll do. Cheers.